Damn, Paige, you look fine today.
Thanks, Tyler. I think that's the first compliment you've given me all series.
Well, better late than never, I'd say. So, like, I'm just gonna wait for you to give me my compliment now, you know?
Good thing we have 7 more episodes to go.
Check this out.
Today on Planet Urban, third-year student Sachini gives us tips on university subject picking. We spend a moment with multi-talented Kanye West. Brandon tells us why we should write. How do you blush? We'll find that out too. And finally, Lloyd gets real with Desh on Real Talk. All of this coming up on Planet Urban.
He's the most coolest and most fly guy in hip-hop these days.
Yeah, and he's also known to be one of the most annoying, stuck-up and arrogant people of the world.
Look, say what you want, but he's amazing. Now here's some more amazing artists on Unsigned Hype.
Check this out.
Writing has always been a good form of expression for me from a very young age. I've written a lot of stories, short stories, poems and stuff like that, and it's just something that you enjoy doing, that I enjoy doing, because it just manages somehow to take you away to this place. It's a good form of escapism because you create this place as you go along, and then suddenly you're immersed within that place, and it's like you're living this fantastical journey. And what is reality at the end of the day but fantasy made whole? It would be completely wrong to say that I got my big break in writing anywhere else other than advertising, which is my day job. And it is the first thing that I did that got my writing published and recognized. To hear what you are writing about on the radio or watching it on TV, it gives you a kind of feeling that just makes you want to do more and more and more of it. My first book is called The Fairy Dance, and it was published in 2007. It was a fictional take on the very real issue of child sex tourism in Sri Lanka. It focused in particular on 2 characters, a boy and a girl, children who are caught in the sex trade, and their relationships with their parents, and just basic life stuff that they go through. But what you find out when you read it is that this life stuff is very different to the life stuff that we know growing up as children. My friends who are very well read will take one of my books and say to my face, you know, the story is great but the writing sucks. And they're not wrong, because when I read Fairy Dance and I compare it with Living Their Lie, I'm like, what was I thinking writing like this, right? And then when I compare Living Their Lie, my second book, to what I'm writing right now, I see a huge difference. But this difference I would not have been able to fathom or comprehend if I hadn't started off with the Fairy Dance to begin with. Because through that experience, one thing I know for sure is that I can tell a good story. Hands down, I can tell a good story, and people will listen, and people will read, therefore. One day, somewhere, there might be some massive prize that I'm taking home for this writing. But for now, it's about, can I tell a story, and can I link with someone, connect with someone through that story? What I'm working on right now is called Psychotica, and it's a working title, but the name itself should give you a sort of feeling about, but no, it's very different. It's fantasy fiction. I'm trying fantasy fiction out for the first time. So where the previous 2 books dealt with drawing from existing scenarios and society conditions, this has made me now create this entire world. People have been asking me if this is going to be like the first epic. I don't know, but maybe the fact that currently there are at least 26 major characters might take it there. But then again, it all depends on how much I'm willing to write and how much I want to put down on paper. Because that's how it was with my first 2 books. I write till I feel the story has to end. Anyone can write. I mean, like, no one cannot not write. You can write. And sometimes all a person needs to do is to pen their thoughts down or put their thoughts down and say, is there somebody else who is appreciative of what I have written? Or can I show this to someone else and ask them what they feel like? Because you want to share your work, obviously. And we live in a world today where technology allows you to do all of that. Even if you don't have the means to a computer, all you need to do is to go to a cyber cafe, find a blog site, blogsum.com, wordpress.com, and you start a blog and you just start writing. And it's bound to come up in a search engine somewhere, and someone's bound to ask, you a question about it or share an opposed point of view on it. And that's what we do as writers. We inspire conversation. Everything that society is talking about, what they don't want to talk about, what they fear talking about, we bring up to conversation through writing. Machang, someone wrote this thing the other day about some thing, Machang, did you read that? And everyone's like, oh yeah, I read that and I felt a bit like this. Conversation, so start a blog, start writing. The more people talk about your work, the more you'll know how to fix it, how to make it better, and eventually become a good writer, I suppose.